shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. As the toes of the feet, now remember this part. It says, as the toes of the feet were part iron and a part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Remember that. Remember the toes, the 10 toes, right? And whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall be mingled themselves with the seed of men, right? But they shall not cleave to one another, even as iron is not mixed with clay, right? So, like, this kingdom, that last kingdom that's going to be set up, the reason why it said they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, because that last kingdom, which is, I'm just going to say it, the Islamic Caliphate, is not just one kingdom of Esau, right? It's 6 other different nations, right, that are inside of this kingdom, right? And all of the kingdoms that came before it that Daniel was mentioned is a part of this kingdom, right? That's why I say this kingdom gonna take over the whole world. It's actually talking about that area over there in the Middle East and Arabia and Iran and Northern Africa and all of those different parts of the country over there, right? So now we're gonna get the same prophecy in Daniel 8, and it's gonna not Daniel 8 but Daniel 7, where it's gonna talk about the 4 great beasts that came up from the sea, right? And it's talking about the same kingdom that Daniel was talking about in Daniel 2, right? So right now I'm going to give you these kingdoms, right? The head of gold was Babylon, right? Right? The head of gold was Babylon, right? Let me see. The head of gold was Babylon. The chest and the arms was the Persia and Medes, right? Medieval Persia. The belly of thighs and bronze, right, is the Greco-Roman, right? Notice it said the belly and the thighs, right? Whenever it's 2 parts, it's 2 parts of the same kingdom, right? So like when you go to Persia and the Medes, it's the chest and the arms, right? So in the belly and the thighs is the Greco-Roman, Greece and Rome, right? Now, here's where the confusion comes in at, right? Now, this is where a lot of the confusion comes in at, right? So I just told you that the 3rd kingdom was the kingdom of the Romans and the Grecians, which is the belly and the thighs, right? So now, who is this kingdom of legs and iron, right? Because most Christian theologians and Israelites alike, they always say the belly and the thighs of bronze is Greece and the legs of iron is Rome, right? And that's far from the truth. That's gonna throw your doctrine all off because it's not right, right? So this is the correct breakdown. The belly and the thighs, right, is Greece and Rome. Legs of iron is which is one kingdom, the Islamic Caliphate, right? And then the feet of iron and clay is the revived Islamic Caliphate, right? Because remember, the kingdom is partly strong and part iron and part clay, right? So that's the kingdom. And when you go to Daniel 7, it also talks about the kingdom, but it talks about it in the form of beast, right? So in order to know in Revelation 13, like, what is the mark of the beast, you have to figure out who is that last beast and what is his mark, right? So, and I'm going to tell you, and the scriptures is going to speak plainly for themselves, right? So now, Daniel chapter 7 and verse 3. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse from one another. Diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, which is Babylon, right? And had eagle's wings. And I held till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Right. So we know what that first kingdom is. And behold, another beast, a second, like unto a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in its mouth of it between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Medo-Persia. After this I beheld, lo, another like a leopard, which upon his back of it four wings of fowl. The beast also had four heads, and those are the four generals, etc. etc. I think you pretty well, most people know that, but right? And dominion, the Greco-Roman rulership, right? And the fourth beast. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Remember the 10 toes, right? It had 10 horns, right? I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things, right? So that fourth beast, now we're not going to get into all the real details, because this class is specifically, I wanted to show you, the mark of the beast. So we know that fourth beast is the last kingdom, right? That's spoken of in Daniel 2nd, now spoken of in Daniel 7. So let's get more interpretation of the vision, right? Verse 17, these great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth, right? But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and forever and ever. Then I will know the truth of the fourth beast, right? So now he's really going to get into it, like this fourth beast. It's like, because remember, this fourth beast was different from all the other beasts, right? Which was diverse from all the others and exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were like of iron, and his nails of brass, would devour and break in pieces, and stamp the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns which were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of the horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. And I beheld the same horn made war against the saints and prevailed against them. You got to read about that history, right? Verse 23, I'm going to skip over 22 and go to 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom on the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdom, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it into pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and shall subdue 3 kings. And he spake great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints and the Most High, and think to change times and laws. Right? And they shall be given into his hands until a time and a dividing of time. Right? But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. Right? So that fourth kingdom, right, it was diverse from all the different kingdoms that were upon the earth. Now, when you look up the history, you will know that you know, when you look at, you know, rulership in that area over there at the time, you know, all of these are the four great kingdoms that was over there in that area. Babylon, Persian and Mede, Greco-Roman, and the Islamic Caliphate. Those are the four kingdoms over there that reigned, and, you know, that were notable in the scriptures. Right? So now Revelation 13 is going to expound like this kingdom just a little bit more, right? So Revelation 13 is also where you hear about the mark, and the mark is referring to this beast in Revelation 13, right? It's the same beast that's talking about Daniel 2, that fourth beast, right? And that fourth kingdom in Daniel that was of legs of iron, and the beast that was in Daniel 7, which had the iron teeth, right? So the beast that had the legs of iron and the beast that had the iron teeth, all right? And now it speaks about the same beast in Revelation 13. So, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw, now watch this, this is key right here. The beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were like unto the feet of a bear, and his mouth as a mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So now, when it tells you the characteristic of this particular beast, right? It was like unto a leopard, his feet was like unto a bear, his mouth was like a lion, which are all 3 characteristics of the previous 3 beasts and the previous 3 kingdoms that was spoken of in Daniel's 2 and 7, right? This beast, this fourth beast, has the characteristic of the first 3 beasts. Why? Because the first 3 beasts are inside of this fourth beast, meaning this fourth beast took over all the rest of the 3 kingdoms when the scriptures talks about he shall subdue 3 kings, right? So this fourth beast has taken over and has the previous 3 kingdoms in it, right? So that's what it's saying. That's why it has like a feet like unto a leopard, right? So let's go in the scripture. Who was the leopard, right? Let's see. Who was the leopard? I'm trying to second eagle. So the first beast was the lion, right? So, and that was Babylon. So in this kingdom is Babylon, right? And a bear. The second beast was a bear, which was a Persian and Mede. So this kingdom hath Persian and Medes. And the third beast was like unto a leopard, which is the Greco-Roman Empire. So this kingdom has the Greco-Roman Empire in it, right? So, right? So that's why the fourth kingdom, right, is so great, is because it has all of these different kingdoms in it, and it subdued those 3 kings, right? But white supremacy ain't gonna teach you that. You know, I'm going by what the scriptures say, right? So Revelation 13 and 16. So we in the same chapter. So it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their hand and in their foreheads. So what is the mark of the fourth kingdom, which is the Islamic Caliphate? Right? First, we're going to get a little precept, right? We're going to get what is the mark of the Lord, right? So that's Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4, right? That's what we're going to do. My first little precept. And then we're going to determine, according to the scripture, what is the mark of this beast. I got to hurry up because I ain't got much time. Ezekiel 9. I'm not trying to do another video. Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4, it says, "And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, set a mark upon their foreheads of the men that shy and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof." So the mark of the Lord is, the law, statutes, and commandments and stuff like that, right? So we know that this last kingdom is the Islamic Caliphate. So the mark, according to the scriptures of the Islamic Caliphate, would be Islam, right? Because it says to receive a mark in their right hand. What's in their right hand? The Quran, right? The Quran in their hand, or in their forehead, right? Or the knowledge of that book, which is the Quran, is in their forehead. Because remember, this is a vision that he's looking at this, right? So let me read it again. "And he caused all, both small and great, rich or poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, which is the Quran, or in their foreheads," right? "And that no man might buy, sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." And that's a different class. Yeah, I mean, once y'all understand this, I go into that and tell you, what talks about when it says the name of the beast or the number of his name. It's really not that hard. You're talking about, the Islamic Caliphate, which is the religion of Esau. You know what I'm saying? Which is in that region over there. Which is primarily, I would probably have to say, the Arabs, right? That's Esau. The dragon, right? So, that's what I'm gonna conclude. And I hope you got an understanding on this. If anybody have any questions or anything like that, you can leave it in the comments or whatever, and I'll get back to you. I'll definitely get back to you if you have any questions. So the COVID vaccine or the chip and all of that stuff, that is not the mark of the beast, right? That's people guessing and not really studying the scriptures, right? So, that's what it is. So I hope people get understanding from that. And like I say, you got any questions, feel free to, hit me up, and, shalom. I like that name. But what I wanted to bring out today, about mirroring some things about the COVID vaccine and the mark of the beast. I heard some people say that this vaccine might be the mark of the beast and stuff like that, which is so far from the truth. It's ridiculous. In order to understand what is the mark of the beast, you first have to understand who is the beast that the Bible is talking about. Now, we know that last kingdom is Esau's kingdom, but many people say that, and theologians and Israelites who got the same doctrine, many of them say that Rome is that last kingdom, which is far from the truth. And it doesn't make sense according to the scriptures if Rome is that last kingdom, because they say, Esau is the white man, which is another thing that's actually false according to what the scriptures are saying. So we're gonna go into who is this beast that the scriptures is talking about, right? So once we understand who the beast is, then I'm gonna take you to Revelations 13:16, and I'm gonna explain to you the mark of this beast, right? So let's go. So what I want to talk about going to first is the dream that Daniel had, about the four kingdoms, and then I'm gonna go to Daniel 7 and 8, which talks about the four beasts that came out of the sea, and that fourth beast is the beast that's mentioned in Revelation 13, right? And it's all going to make sense to you in the end. It's not that hard. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out, right? So where do we start from? Right. So Daniel is going to reveal. Right, he's going to reveal to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. He's going to interpret the dream that that he had about the kingdoms that were going to come after Nebuchadnezzar, which therefore would be the end of Jerusalem. Right, so because that's what it's talking about. Let me see. Right, I'm going to start at verse 31 because you know the history behind it. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream and he couldn't interpret the dream, so he tried to get his people to interpret the dream. They couldn't interpret it, so I think he killed all of them. Then, so he turned to the prophets, and Daniel was the only one that could interpret the dream, and this is what he told Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, that the dream meant, right? Verse 31. It says, Daniel chapter 2 and verse 31, Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This image whose brightness was excellent stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, right? So the first kingdom was fine gold. His breast and arms of silver, right? That's another kingdom. His belly and his thighs were brass. His legs of iron. His feet part iron and part clay. Thou sawest till the stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces, right? Then there was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Right. So now, Daniel, that's the vision, right? That that the king Nebuchadnezzar, that's the dream that he had. So Daniel told him the dream that he had because the Lord gave him the interpretation of it. Now, verse 37, right? Verse 36, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and the strength of glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. So Babylon was that head of gold, right? And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee. And that's a mistranslation right there, because we know if there was another kingdom that arise